Can I
I
just
mean,
can I hit you with a hot take? Can I hit you with a
sure.
hot take, Luke?
Yeah.
Okay, here's my hot take. Okay? Why is the penalty for attempted murder any less than the penalty for murder?
Um,
Okay? That's
because
my hot take.
you
Why?
penalize people who suck less.
Well, that's exactly it. Just because you suck at murdering someone doesn't mean that you're not a complete asshole.
Yeah, like this seems just super illegal for like a
So,
bunch of
but
reasons.
but
I
here's
I
the
don't know if
problem.
I'm
Here's the
missing
problem.
something here.
Because of the way, and this is, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. As far as I know, because of the way the law works, until someone's house actually blows down, until someone's house actually burns down and they suffer any kind of actual material harm, there's no real practical way to go after them for it. That is my understanding. Like, if you were to try to class action the shit out of Newegg and Gigabyte over this, basically you would have to demonstrate some kind of material harm. And so the most you could possibly hope to get is some kind of compensation for your dead motherboard or CPU or graphics card or whatever else, which Newegg and Gigabyte conveniently make sure won't be an issue because they take your graphics card back when you report that there's an issue with the power supply. So you've been refunded for it. You've been compensated. But to me, I look at it and I go, well, whoa, hold on a second. What about the risk? What about the risk that I never would have signed up for if I had known about this in the first place? What about that? Nothing about that. It's attempted murder, therefore it's no big deal. Why is that? Help me understand this.
I don't know. This is crazy. Apparently, Gigabyte has responded and basically been like, yeah, um, not a problem. Apparently, they've adjusted the OPP trigger point from 120 to 150%, from roughly around 120 to 150% to roughly around 110 to 120%.
Okay. So over
On
OPP would
both
be
their
over power
models.
protection.
Yeah, and that's on both models as far as I can tell. The same thing, 120 roughly to 150 roughly,
Okay.
changed to 110 roughly to 120 roughly.
They are saying the testing is the issue. Now, I
Yeah.
did say that there are ways that you can test a power supply. So, for example, one of the ways that we used to be able to separate the men from the boys back in the early days of high-powered graphics cards was a purely 12-volt test. So you would run the power supply up to its basically entire rated current delivery, or up to its entire rated power delivery wattage. You would run the entire thing over the 12-volt rail, and lots of power supplies struggled with it because they were designed and validated by the manufacturers with some kind of load on 5-volt and 3.3-volt because there was other equipment in your power supply that would draw from these rails. And so a mark of a well-designed power supply was that it could deliver basically all of its power on 12-volt without actually drawing from those other rails. So you would hook it up in this artificial sort of way to power supply testing equipment instead of using a computer to test it. And
Yeah.
reviewers at the time would kind of disclaim these results. They'd say, okay, look, a good result here is the mark of a well-designed power supply, but it's not representative of the real world. And if a power supply fails this test, that's fine because your computer will use 5-volt and 3.3-volt power anyway. But the reason that they tested it in that way is that they were trying to look forward to a time when the 12-volt rail was going to become more and more and more and more important. So just because the methodology might be what's causing the power supply to blow up, also there's a lot of anecdotal evidence of these things just blowing up in regular use, but just because the methodology might be what causes it to blow up doesn't mean that there isn't a good reason for that methodology and that it wouldn't point to a deficiency in the design or build quality of the power supply. So Gigabyte is also offering exchanges for these units, so that is good, but you're getting a
For the
tweaked
tweaked ones.
one with an over
Yeah.
power protection trigger point that is
Lower.
lower, which basically just means that it's not going to deliver as much peak power, I guess, which to me doesn't really address the problem, which is that these power supplies are failing.
I'm not sure if this is Steve or not necessarily, but Gamers Nexus in YouTube chat says, "LOL, Gigabyte's response showed they didn't actually understand our testing. We'll look closer at it and comment on Monday or Tuesday," which is great. But also, I would bring us back to the Gamers Nexus slide at 4 minutes and 30 seconds, 4 minutes and 35 seconds into the video. I wish I watched this before the show. This is super interesting. I'm gonna have to watch the whole thing in detail after the show. But
just make sure you set it to 2x speed. It's half an hour.
It's 30 minutes long.
Love you, Steve.
But Steve's testing shows 50% failure. Okay, so there could be something wrong with the testing methodology, whatever, kind of doubt it. Newegg reviews show 54%. Yes, people are going to respond negatively more often than positively.
Yeah.
Because if you buy a power supply, it shows up and it works, you're decently unlikely to go back and be like, yup, it functions.
Yep.
But you're really likely to say something if your power supply freaking explodes.
Blows up and takes out your motherboard.
Yes. That being said, that practically never happened. So the fact that it is happening and the fact that 54% of Newegg reviews are this negative is astonishing.
Fairly damning.
Yeah, I'm not 100% certain what the survey data column is. Again, I haven't watched the full video, but like this is rough.
We also have a super chat from Steve. He says, regarding the testing, Gigabyte misrepresented us and is twisting it. They claimed we ran it for extended periods, but the failures were actually within 2 minutes almost every single time. They either didn't understand or pretended they didn't. We're going to be replying on Monday.
Also, like, that's very good. Please reply on Monday. I went to newegg.com, specifically, not .ca, because I believe that's where they got these numbers from.
Yeah.
I typed in power supply, and the first two things that came up were EVGA 600 BQ 110 and then Seasonic Focus GX 850. I'm checking their responses, and everything's basically fine.
Well, yeah.
Yep. There's some issues with like DOA on the EVGA one, but most people are happy with it. And the Seasonic one is rated super highly. Not surprised. Seasonic power supplies are fantastic. And that does not line up with the Gigabyte responses. So there's something non-standard, right? The Gigabyte ones are blowing the heck up, and the other ones aren't.
Actually, these EVGAs kind of seem to have some issues.
I don't think they're exploding though.
A few of them have apparently popped, just like right out of the box. That's in like the last 10 reviews. There's like 3 that are saying they popped. They popped off.
They popped off, dude. They're popping off.
Power supply, man.
That's still not anywhere near, not even remotely close to the same percentages as the Gigabyte power supplies. Just to be very clear. Even if we total together, they're done in eggs on Newegg, on Newegg, not stars. So if we total together the 1, 2, and 3 stars, so I'm assuming you're not going to give a power supply a 4 or 5 star if it explodes on you. If we total all of that together, that equals a percentage of 18.
Yeah.
The Gigabyte ones are at 54. And I also know that there are some other, like some of these 1 egg ones are like, oh, it showed up DOA, which is bad, but it's not exploding. These are very different things.
Yeah. These are angry customers. This is not a good look. You know, the funny thing about it is we preach, don't cheap out on your power supply, right? Like, don't we preach that?
Yeah.
But you know what I've noticed in the Intel Extreme Tech upgrades is almost, I wouldn't say almost everyone, but a disproportionate number of the people who have gotten Intel Extreme Tech upgrades where they're operating within a fixed budget, trying to get as much tech as they can for the money, have skimped on the power supply. Chase skimped on the power supply and is now, he actually had just a system power down event because he has a 3080 on like a 750 watt power supply. And so he's like, yeah, I'm going to have to buy a new power supply. James skimped on the power supply. He tried to get away with, I forget exactly what card it was, but it was with like a little SFX power supply. And those tend to be more sensitive than a full-size power supply to momentary spikes in power draw. And I'm trying to remember who else, but Colton Colton, I think, cheaped out on the power supply. Like almost everyone, in spite of the fact that we preach this, when push came to shove, they chose FPS instead of smooth, reliable, unsexy power delivery. Hit me
Okay,
up.
so I know Anthony had an Extreme Tech upgrade, but it's been a long time since I watched it. Has like Alex had an Extreme Tech upgrade?
Alex has, I believe he reused his. No, Alex went for a good quality power supply. In fact,
And probably so did Anthony,
he
right?
used the Seasonic X Connect, whatever that case
Beautiful.
that has the breakout like 12-volt only power thing. It was pretty sick.
Cool. Okay. Cool. Neat. And Anthony probably got a good one as well, I'm assuming.
Trying to remember. Anthony blew a lot of his budget on like a VR headset and a TV. So I'm trying to remember what his parts list was.
He must have had a computer though.
I'll check.
Is it in here? Oh,
even I'm
processor, motherboard,
RMX 650 watt. So he went pretty. That's a decent power supply, but no, even Anthony wanted to squeeze as much. Like he didn't go overkill for
2080 Super. Yeah,
2080 Super. That is adequate. That was a calculated savings.
Measured. So
it was a savings.
Like a really fantastic solution and a very adequate solution from the little bit more techier people out of the people that you listed so far.
Yes.
And I am not surprised.
Yep.
And then what was my other one? Oh no. Oh, I was going to say the other thing is maybe it was tactical because maybe they cranked out the parts that are difficult to get, expensive to get, etc. Knowing that potentially the power supply is going to die, but that's not really a big deal
because you can get a power supply.
Yeah, they can go buy a solid power supply on their own. So maybe it was a tactical decision.
But the big problem is that your power supply can take out other components. And when that happens, I mean, you will get the runaround. There, I'll say it. You are going to get the runaround because the power supply manufacturer is not going to want to buy you a new graphics card. And the graphics card manufacturer, that is not their fault that you bought a crappy power supply.
Yep.
So nobody is going to want to replace that collateral damage. I have heard of power supply manufacturers that have claimed that they will warranty connected components that are killed by the power supply failure. But one of the issues is that it's really hard to prove it.
Probably not Gigabyte.
Well, that's a whole
if they didn't hate me enough already. Hey.